What's up, YouTube? Happy Monday. Don't forget to save, aka Sam, back at you guys with another video. Uh, as you can tell, we're continuing on with Friday the 13th. Just going over the basics of the movies. I call them reviews, or more like mini reviews. But anyway, before I get started, guys, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Comment down below what your favorite movie is, or what you thought of today's movie. Whatever you guys feel like talking about. If you guys want, we should be talking about it. It's October's coming up. So anyway, with all that said, guys, we're going to be talking about Friday the 13th, Part 2. Now, a couple things I need to go over here. If I knock everything over, there we go. A couple things we got to go over is, for one, Sean Cunningham did not come back to work on Part 2 because Part 2 introduced the Jason Voorhees character as being in the story. See, in the original, he was a boy that drowned at Crystal Lake. So they kind of made him the killer because Pamela was killed in the first one. His mother was getting revenge. She was, beheaded by a machete in the first one. Spoiler for anybody who didn't know. Anyway, I have to mention it because it goes into this movie. So it doesn't really make any sense that we went from Part 1, where he was a boy that drowned, to Part 2, where he's the actual killer. And that actually makes sense to me. I kind of would have rolled my eyes and groaned about that idea at that point in time, because remember, there was only one other movie at the time. So, okay, got that out of the way. Now, so Sean didn't come back, but his wife, Susan Cunningham, who has since passed away, sadly, did editing for this movie. I'm not sure if it was credited or not. If anybody knows in the comments, please let me know. I might look it up later. I know I should have looked it up before, but I've got a busy day, and I didn't have the time to look that exact thing up. But I know she worked as an editor on it. So that's the main point I'm trying to get across here. So now a few people that did return from the first movie. Betsy Palmer, even though her character was killed off, she's kind of had a couple lines in there as like the ghost of Jason's mom or whatever. Then Adrienne King, who was the final girl from the first one, she's, spoiler again, she's killed within like the first 5 minutes of the movie. And Walt Gorney as his last appearance as Crazy Ralph. And I mentioned it last video. I'm going to mention it this one too. Walt Gorney was a heck of a good actor, and I loved the Crazy Ralph bit. That was my favorite bit of the entire series. So R.I.P. to Walt Gorney and Crazy Ralph. Okay, so moving along. Now, we had we didn't always just have one Jason, and this is a movie in where, in Halloween, a lot of different people played Michael Myers. And it was sort of like this with Friday the 13th Part 2. It was only two people, but it was multiple Jasons. So we had Steve Daskowitz as Jason, and Warrington Gillette as Jason Unmasked. So we had two different people play Jason on that one. That's what I was thrown off about the last video, so I did look that up and correct myself there. So with that said, getting down to the plot. Now, the plot is they're reopening Camp Crystal Lake, just like in the first one. And of course, Jason, kills Adrienne King in the beginning. I don't know how he looked her up, if he looked her up in the Yellow Pages and found her. I'm still not sure about that. But what I do know is that they reopened Camp Crystal Lake, and Paul is the main camp counselor guy. And Jenny is, basically they're an item, the love interest, so to speak. And so, that's the basic setup. Now, one of the things, guys, if anybody can answer this in the comments below, that'd be cool. The Paul character, it's kind of left ambiguous. We don't know what happens to him. If you watch the end of the movie, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but for those who haven't seen it or might want to see it again, the thing is, nobody knows what happened to Paul. Was Paul killed? Did he survive? What happened there? Leave it in the comments below. I think Paul was according to the script, he was supposed to be killed, but for whatever reason, that didn't make it to the screen, so we're kind of left ambiguous on that. So, with all that said, guys, that's kind of my overview of Friday the 13th Part 2. For what it does, I call it the burlap bag Jason, because that's what he's wearing most of the movie, and he doesn't have his iconic hockey mask yet, but for what it is, it's, it doesn't follow a continuity, but there's only two movies at the time. For what it is, it's a fun slasher. I'd give it 3 out of 5 stars for what it was for the time. It moved the franchise forward, and that's what it needed to do. So with all that said, guys, that's kind of my review and overview on it. We'll do part 3 on Wednesday and continue on from there. Doing Constitution tomorrow, guys. So if you guys want to know what your rights are, or if you just want to talk about the Constitution, tomorrow's video is for you. With all that said, guys, until next video, love your hobby, and it will love you back. Peace.